Hello, and welcome to the Plants Always Win pre-show, the pre-show where we show you previews of our nonsense.
Did you script that? Was that off the
I
top of
thought
your head?
about it.
Oh, we've been thinking about it for over a year. Happy podiversary.
Also, it's really unfortunate that my internet signal is too poor to have my camera on successfully because I decided that this week we're going to give a little holiday gift to people and not paywall this one.
Oh, cool. Hey, I like that. That's nice.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate. Maybe next time? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll try again. We'll see if I go and
Ooh, I don't know if our listeners, viewer, pre-show patrons, freebies. I don't know if anyone watching can hear you because that went very distorted. And now I can't hear a thing. Oh, hello. I see a camera back on. Technical difficulties.
Okay.
Cameras
Sorry.
off.
That was so bad that I had to wait for a chance to turn my camera off again because I fully wasn't connected.
Oh, wow. We could blame the weather. We could blame a
Yeah,
lot
we're
of
having some
things.
weather.
Truth be told, this is the cost of living, outside of a big city. We don't have, you know, high quality standard luxury. It is a luxury to us, but like, yeah, we're hoping
Yeah,
for some improvements pretty soon.
indeed. In the meantime, people will just not be able to see my happy morning face. Their loss.
Happy morning face. What happened last night? I don't how much do you want to share?
Oh, I just I had an exhausting day that included finding out last minute that the repairs on my car were done and I could finally bring the rental car back. The rental car that
Mhm.
has been terrible for this snowy, snowy, snowy weather.
Oof.
On my way to town with like just enough time to do this, um, the car started vibrating wildly, and I thought, oh no, there's ice in the wheels again. So there's only one safe place to pull over between
Mhm.
here and town. So I did. Unfortunately, a tractor trailer had cleared off all of their snow there, and I didn't realize it until I was stuck in it. So, long story short, I got pushed out. I made it in time, but I was
Oh.
exhausted.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
then I woke up in the middle of the night last night because of the farm dogs barking next door and remained up because of chronic pain for hours. And so here I am
Cheapers.
with my cheerful disposition.
I want to say silver lining, but honestly, I feel like the weather is echoing your entire vibe right now. So it's it's dreary and miserable, but like it's there's a chance of a little sun later. So I don't know.
So that'd be nice.
um,
The silver
that's
lining
yeah.
is I have my Subaru back. Thank
Oh, good.
goodness.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's yes, that's good.
The difference
Ooh.
in the traction as soon as I got in it was incredible.
Oh yeah. I am so excited that this year, I really insisted that Eva get proper winter tires on rim, like a second set, like not just swap your tires, put them on the same rims, blah, blah, blah. No, get a new set on new rims. You can do the
Oh yeah.
tire swap so much quicker. Get studded winter tires because of where we live. And she, like, the amount of times where she's texting me and calling me and whatever safely, hands free, voice text, whatever, saying how disgusting and dangerous the roads are every single time. I'm like, aren't you glad you got studs? Like, I'm so
Yeah.
happy.
These last couple weeks have been relentless.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
But also, is it weird? This is normal. It's weird to feel
It should
normal
be
again.
normal. Yes.
Yeah, this is a Canadian winter, but for the last couple of years, it's been dragged. We've had a slow start kind of thing. This really instant, a foot of snow and that was it. And it stuck around and since then we've had more and more and more, but yeah, having it so early feels different.
Mhm. Now, I'm just looking through our drive here for our good old brainstorming document that we haven't used in ages. But since it's the end of the year, and I kind of suspect we're not going to be doing this next week on Christmas Eve, um, we should brainstorm some topics for next year's episodes.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that.
Oh, and we
Oh,
can
versus
cross some
topics.
off. We did
Versus
our little shop
topics.
of horrors finally.
Oh yeah. We can add another, like, okay, that's a good place to start. Let's start with this seasonal thematic stuff.
Sure.
Uh so let's start with Halloween, I guess. Do we want to hmm. Ooh, I let's dig into The Last of Us, the mycorrhizal fungi,
Ooh,
parasitic fungus,
okay.
because we can watch the show at some point in time, maybe. I don't know what it's streaming on. Maybe even play the game, or get someone who knows, who has played the game, to
Oh, Sophie
comment.
has.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think that would be fun.
that's cool. Yeah. Okay, that's Halloween. Um, we didn't do a midwinter holiday episode this year. Last year we had our Amaryllis and Poinsettia. I don't know if we want to plan for that type of deal again next year.
Or even like in January, like that could be a thing. Or
Oh my
mm,
gosh, I know what we should do in early January. New Year's resolution: how to keep houseplants alive.
oh, come on. Okay. I
Just like, can
Yeah.
we do general enough tips? Can we fill an episode with that?
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding? Yeah. Um, we'll do a call out for very specific questions, but honestly, that's all I'm seeing right now online for questions is, what's wrong with blank? I'm like, well, it's a tree. It's not, or, oh, you've got bugs, certain bugs. Like, here's a bunch of different pests, that you can deal with. And,
Yeah.
and they all basically have the same care tip for most pests.
I'm pretty
Um,
confident that the biggest problem mine are facing is that all of the windows in my house have heaters underneath them. So, in order to get natural light, they must get blasts of hot, dry air.
so that's an interesting combination of yes, the blasting of hot, dry air is, you have zero humidity, but at the same time, the heat inside the air is being sucked out through the window, and you're possibly getting drafts as well. Um,
You know, we're very well
decrease the
sealed. We don't
Oh,
actually
really?
get drafts. Hmm.
Oh, lucky you. So
Yeah,
even
we
if
have very thin walls, so the heat does dissipate quickly, but there's no actual draft.
Okay, do you have a tangible thermometer?
I don't own one. I probably should.
Okay. Maybe I'll dig them up, but once upon a time I bought like a 5-pack of like tiny thermometers, and I put them around different areas in my basement.
Mm,
And the amount of variation it was surprising. So I'll look into that again. But yes, you should. And then put them in the window, and then put one on the counter, and really see the difference at the
yeah.
same time.
Well, there is no question that these plants experience a huge variability in temperature in my house because our heat is electric. It is not feasible to leave it on all the time. And we
Yeah.
have a thermostat in every room. So we just don't heat the rooms we're not in. So the poor plants, they get hot, they get cold.
Yeah. Hey, that's
They
very
toughen up or
normal
they
in the
don't.
Exactly. It's the plant purge of winter. It's honestly,
Yeah.
it's very normal. Don't feel guilty. We don't have a greenhouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that. in the new year.
Okay.
That'll be good.
General houseplant care tips.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Moving on to
Valentine's.
Valentine's. Oh, when does the Ottawa Wildflower Seed Library finish their thing? I know last
Ooh,
year I ordered super late or something like that.
yeah.
I feel like we're on a bit of a time crunch with them.
Um, oh, online seat orders will be open until December 26th.
Oh, so okay, we are on a time crunch, like a
Yeah.
1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 week. Wow. um, yeah, I guess we can give them a shout out in today's. We're gonna finish up the Gabrielle's edit and post that hopefully today. Um, is that okay? Can we give them a real quick shout out
In the outro?
in in the outro or
Or, oh, we could do a water break if you want to fit one
yeah,
in. It's up to you.
yeah, we can fit that in the water break. Yeah, I have no problem with that. I have to find where actually we can have one water break in the intro. I don't want to spend too long in the intro.
Yeah,
I'll tell you about that after. We don't need to brainstorm what we're about to do in the pre-show right now. um, but yeah, I had that thought of like with guests, I kind of want to jump straight in as fast as possible.
sure.
Um, and we can even, break the fourth wall and address the fact that we're trying to jump in as fast as possible. But that's it. Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll give them a shout out, or we could we'll maybe not. We'll just do some social media stuff. We'll post about it. I'll try and do the same thing.
Okay.
I didn't order from them this year, and I don't think I need to. Like, I don't like if they have extra stuff, sure, but also like I'm okay.
Yeah.
I have an insane amount of saved seeds, and I didn't do any
Yeah.
winter sowing. Again, I didn't do it.
Oh, it is so far from too late. Do it
Exactly. As
next month or in February.
which is okay, that's an episode we gotta talk about winter sowing, as a reminder or as an episode or how to, or we can do an update on how it went for us last year.
Sure.
Um,
I
all of
forgot
that
that we
stuff.
didn't do one because I've made so much content about it.
Right. But we haven't. You have.
Cool. I will put that in
Um,
the list.
all right. Going chronologically speaking, going through holidays. So
Yeah.
January, not much is going on. February we have Valentine's Day, unless there's
Yeah.
something else in January.
Nope. Nope. I think New Year's to Valentine's.
Oh, you know what we should do though? I should really
Hmm.
look at like a calendar, like a commercial calendar that has all of these like today's International Cookie Day or something like that. Like I I don't right? I don't know these things and I don't
Yeah.
they don't yeah.
Now, if we're going to do that, we must be diligent with our release dates.
Shots fired. Yes, you're right and I agree with that. We either have to do it in advance or be timely. And both
Yeah.
is possible. And yeah, okay. Good point. Good point. Depending on how detailed we want to get with, special days of the year. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So February there's Valentine's Day. Is there anything else? Honestly, I'm
No, I've also, I don't think we want to like be all thematic all the time.
That's a good point. That is a good
I
point.
miss having tons and tons of versus episodes, so let's get those in there.
Yes. Well, that's the thing, right? Like there's only the one thing in February. I can't think of anything in March. Um maybe March break we could do like a tropical um things that you might see on vacation on a March break that are like houseplants.
Hmm.
Like a monstera or a pothos. That's a good versus episode. Monsteras and two very common houseplants that are much more massive in their native range. Do we want to do a joke for April Fools? No, maybe, I don't know.
Oh, but if
as
we
we are
do, we
getting in,
can't tell everyone here.
shh. Sometime also before spring happens, we can do pre-spring, um, like gardening chores, like seed starting, for example. I know we've talked about that before, along with winter sowing, but like, certain plants that you might want to start earlier. For example, in January, if you want to start your woody herbs, lavender and rosemary, you need to give them
Hmm.
more than 6 weeks, versus a sunflower that you basically want to start May 1st.
You know
So
what I
that
think I had initially proposed at one point last year is that we do, or did we even do it?
I
I'm
don't.
gonna have to look at the
mm,
list. Um,
what is
but
it?
it was, pardon me,
What is it? I didn't. I
winter sowing versus seed starting. See, that feels very familiar to me. I feel like that was done.
Yes. Yes, I think that we did that. Oh, actually, so that raises a good point. I like as well, not just plant versus, but theme, like concept
Yes.
versus. So for cloning plants versus starting them from seed, propagating by cutting versus seed starting. What is the method? What is the reasoning? What are the pros and cons? Um, yeah, stuff like that.
Let me,
But
I just
winter sowing
gotta,
versus seed starting, I think that was just tossed
we
in.
did do it. That was episode 18.
Oh, okay.
Seed starting versus direct sowing. So, okay,
Okay.
that's relevant because I was trying to think maybe this is what you were suggesting is an episode where we're talking about starting these things indoors in January versus outdoors in January, but we've done that. So, different angle.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit of a different angle. It's more like, hey, we're in January. If you live in Ontario, now might be a good time to start very specific things. So let's talk about rosemary versus lavender, which is a very similar plant, but very, very,
Mhm.
very different. Um, and we could just toss in the concept as an aside for the
Yeah,
verses. Okay.
cool.
Now, the other thing is like I dehydrated and cleaned up my dahlia tubers. They're sitting in my basement right now. There were 3 chunks that at the time I was like, I don't know, they kind of seem damaged, they kind of seem a little bit withered, like I don't know if they're going to work. So I just stuck them in a pot and they're growing. All 3 of them in my bedroom right now, and I started them in November.
Wow.
But what's gonna happen? I don't know, but like, is it good to push the boundaries of what these rules are? What if you start them immediately, like a month after I took them out of the ground,
Right.
and what happens if you do that immediately?
Does that fall under the category of forcing? Forcing is something we could talk about.
Yeah, yeah, I would call that forcing. Yeah. Um, oh gosh, there's different ways. Yeah, forcing is good. There's different ways that you can force a plant. You can force, commercially speaking, you can force poinsettias to change color. You can force plants to grow or stunt them with growth inhibitors. Um,
Mm,
so you can force it in either direction. You can
right.
force air layering. So you can force a plant to grow roots in a certain fashion, and that way you're cloning differently. Yeah, you can yeah, you can use the force. That's oh gosh. Are we gonna do a
Oh,
May 4th?
okay.
I like it.
April 4th? Although that's
May
kind of
May
late for a
4th.
forcing conversation. May 4th. That's very late
You're
for that conversation.
oh um for half of them, yeah, because you're not forcing them in the winter. But for a couple
Yeah.
of other things, you're forcing your summer tasks early. Uh,
I just don't think
yeah,
it's what
yeah,
people
it's a
think
little
of
bit
when you
late.
say forcing. They think of forcing
That's a good
bulbs to
point.
have blooms in late winter.
Yeah, like those hyacinth bulbs that became for sale in November, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why what
Really, in
indoor
November?
hyacinth? Yeah, it's part of here, let me see if I have an example. Well, so this is not a hyacinth, obviously, but they come in this little glass vase that's pinched here, and you put the
Mm,
hyacinth bulb on top with water, and it'll grow roots and produce a flower. It's the wrong time of year because it's not getting nearly enough sunlight. This
mhm.
is not enough space for the roots at all, no matter what you do. And then the flower that comes out is usually stunted in some capacity, or mutated or distorted. And then once it's done, most of the time, like, the bulb is rotten, and
Yeah,
there's
uh, you gave me one last year, and I followed their directions exactly, and the bulb rotted.
yeah, and stuff like that is silly. Um, for
Well, that's a good thing to touch on.
concepts,
Um, touch on
um, like rules and breaking the
bad
rules.
products that lead to rotting bulbs.
Okay, yeah, I guess that could go under generic plant advice. We could talk about bad advice. Um,
Mm,
take everything with a grain of salt. That could be either part of the episode or a whole separate episode.
it could be both.
Mm.
Bad forcing advice just falls under the forcing episode.
I also want to talk about greenwashing and marketing, and some of the terminology and what it truly means and things to watch out for. So in particular, I want to so GMO. We have to do a GMO episode when seeds start to become for sale, so probably January, February,
Yes. Yeah,
because that's a huge marketing bull crap, that we need to dispel, a myth that we need to bust.
yeah.
Um, hmm,
I wonder if this could be framed in a useful way. The versus is on the one side greenwashing, which is companies trying to make their um, products sound more environmentally friendly. And on the other side, things like with that wellness space mushiness of the GMO fear mongering that
ooh,
like you
yes.
have to use this product or you'll be getting something unsafe.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Mm.
Greenwashing versus fear mongering, we'll have to workshop that, but
Yeah,
I think I'll remember what that means.
and I hear you, and I as much as I'm also like, I love our versus format, I feel like both of those are topics in and of themselves when we have enough examples of
Sure.
both greenwashing and fear-mongering, and just straight up lies. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, okay, okay.
It's so, tough in the space that I create in, between Plants Always Win, where we talk a lot about environmentally friendly stuff, and my own platforms where I talk a lot about gardening and health, just
Mhm.
from the perspective of I am a chronically ill gardener. All of the companies approaching me with products are wellness companies, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't know anything about you. I can't just become your ambassador, and,
Yeah.
like, you have not given me at all enough information to believe your claims about your product.
That's it, yeah.
You're just tapping into fear.
Yeah. I've I've been contacted by apps mostly, like,
Mm,
"Hey, support this plant ID app," and I'm like, "No." It's like, no one should pay for that. I'm sorry. Apps should be free, but also there are better free sources out there. Why would anyone pay $5 a month for your inaccurate plant ID app when they should be using iNaturalist?
mm.
Sorry. Or there's another one, a bird watching app that I'm like, interesting, but also who are you? It's It was the way that the email was worded that they're like, "You don't have to do anything. We just need your content." I'm like, "Excuse me? What does that mean?"
Yeah.
No. Um, yeah, it's yeah, you and I and plants always win. We've
Mhm.
had some sketchy companies approach us, and we're just super picky. So
Yeah.
we're at a point where, as much as I I I suppose I can't speak for Erin, but I'm fairly confident that she agrees. We're ready for partners, we're ready for sponsors, we're ready to commit more to this project and many others. But gosh, we need help. We need money. That would be nice. But it is what it is, unfortunately. Anyways,
Yeah.
sorry. That's my generic. I was trying to be as vague as possible for the general public, but
That's fine.
um, yeah.
I'm looking at last year's brainstorming, the things that we never got to. I would
Okay.
love to do asparagus versus rhubarb in the spring because they're both, those perennial
Yeah.
come back early type things.
Oh, Huntsville Library is giving me a call. I got to answer this. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I'm just gonna mute my mic. I don't mind sticking around. This will just take a minute.
Sure. So, other topics that we had written down last year are allotment versus co op gardens, which could be a fun subject. We did cover a lot about community gardening with Jess Latier, but there's always more to explore. I really would like to do day lilies versus true lilies because that is a topic with a fair amount of confusion involved. We have one line that just says lawns. Lawns have come up a bunch. I don't know if they need a custom episode, but maybe if at some point we have a guest who would be a really good person to speak about lawns writ large, that could be a lot of fun. Hot composting versus cold composting. Fertilizer versus compost. I wonder if there's a whole episode there. I think it would have to get really deep into the chemistry, which again might require a guest with some specialization. As much as I love to read the chemistry, I'm not trained enough to then go on to teach it to someone else. Um, onions versus garlic. Yep, that's still viable. Kale versus chard. I wonder how different those two are. That could be interesting because they're very similar in terms of big, tough, dark, leafy vegetables that a lot of people don't really enjoy but are really easy to grow. We've got more berry matchups, blackberries versus raspberries, which I think would be pretty similar to the sunchokes versus sunflowers episode in that they're closely related. So there's going to be a lot of overlap, but then we'll figure out where they diverge. And then strawberries versus blueberries. Hostas versus ferns. That would be a good dry shade episode. And horseradish versus wasabi. If you don't know this, wasabi that you mostly get, especially in North America, at a sushi restaurant or if you're buying it in the store, is probably made of horseradish with color added because wasabi itself does not retain its taste for any amount of time. So it's quite a specialty crop, and it's really only useful when it's going to be grated and served really quickly. So they both have that burning compound in them. They're both root crops. It could be a lot of interesting stuff in that episode. I also wrote down dandelion versus chickweed or some other common weedy edible. I love plants that we consider to be weeds, but are actually things that, European, North American ancestors brought over here deliberately because they were something that they grew for food. It's not great that they then took over the continent, but since they're here, we should know about eating them. Another one, violas versus nasturtiums. So those are, lovely flowers that we still grow on purpose for their beauty, and also some of us grow for food, and those of us who don't know they're edible should. They're delightful. Ring gardens versus swales. That I would love to do. A rain garden is created to sink rain into the ground in a particular spot and have plants growing that will use it. It's not a wetland garden. It's not always going to be wet. The idea is that all of these plants can tolerate having their roots wet for a while after a rain event, and then the rain eventually drains away and they are in a drier space for a while. Swales are used for directing water through a landscape. So, say you've got a gentle slope downhill and you're using swales to direct the water where you want to go, maybe into a pond. Sometimes, if it's not too much water, the swale just kind of slows the water down until it soaks in, which is a bit more similar to the rain garden. Interestingly, though, swales are the word swale is used differently in different contexts. I actually wrote a whole blog post on this when I discovered it because there was a lot of confusion there. In some regions, a swale is just, the colloquial word for a kind of boggy place. In like urban planning, a swale is a specific kind of water redirecting. And in permaculture, a swale is what I was describing before, which is like some earthworks to direct water in a particular way on the contour of the land. So lots going on there. We also talked about hardiness zones versus life zones. So your hardiness zone is we're in zone 4B. You can have perennials survive the winter if they're tough enough to tolerate minus, what is it, 35, something like that. A life zone, I'm trying to remember what we meant by that. I think it was things like we are in, oh, is it the Laurentian forest ecozone? I feel like I've got the wrong name. But there are a bunch of different kind of like ecozones that divide up the continent, which is like the Carolinian forest that runs along the eastern edge of North America is a great example. There are very specific plants that were native to there that were not native to areas just west of it or just north of it. Things like pawpaw trees. I believe that is what we meant by that subject, and that could be a lot of fun too. But that is the whole list of things we have left over from last year's brainstorming. So we do need to come up with some more. And this is the point where you're going to have to listen to me thinking instead of just reading and blabbing because Sean's still on the phone and I'm running out of my list. So we didn't come up with a Valentine's Day idea. And I'm wondering if we want to do another Valentine's flower versus, we could do something subtle like baby's breath. It's everywhere, but what does anybody know about it? I would enjoy learning more about that. But we'd have to match it up with something that has enough in common with it, but is also different enough. And that I feel like might require some poking around. I'm scrolling through a florist's site right now, but I'm not like at first glance seeing something that would be the perfect pairing for that. But I'm gonna write down baby's breath versus question mark. And I wonder if that's even the common name for this plant everywhere. Let me find out. Also known as Gypsophila or million star. It's a classic flower that's been used to design arrangements since the early 1990s. Oh, only the 90s? Interesting. I would have thought it went back further than that. Okay. Ooh, I wonder if we could pair it with something like sweet woodruff, which has a similar flower. But I don't know if that's a plant that you would use in arrangements. I think it would have to be something used in arrangements, but I'll leave that alone for now. What do we have after March, April? Um, I feel like around Easter time, we could do the daylilies versus true lilies because lilies are used so commonly at that time of year. What else? April, May, June. Should we do something for July. It might be fun to do a tulip episode for Canada Day because of the history with the Netherlands and Canada, and the gift of tulips that they send every year. So let's put tulip versus something in July. August, September, October's Halloween. I'll just move that down the list. November, Thanksgiving. That's also October. So Thanksgiving could be a food plant, maybe some kind of squash versus, would it be interesting enough to do something like turnip versus rutabaga? I'm gonna write that down. Let us know if you would click on an episode called Turnip versus Rutabaga. That might not be interesting enough to most people. I mean, I guarantee that the content will be interesting. It's a question of whether the title will attract folks. And then we get back around to the winter holidays, which we didn't come up with another idea for. What else do we do plant-wise at this time of year? We've got the amaryllis and poinsettia. Ooh. There's Christmas cactus, and we haven't done a cactus episode. And I'm kind of tempted to do that versus hellebores, even though they are not really near Christmas time, at least in our geography. They come out later in the spring. But if you get a winter thaw, you sometimes do get hellebores in the garden pretty close to the middle of the year. Let's see. I'm trying to remember if this has a common name. Yes, it is sometimes called Christmas rose. So that could be worth doing. I think it's more common here to call it a Lenten rose if you're going to use one of those common names because, again, you expect it to come out later in the year than Christmas. But we could still do it. And then we can remind people that that episode exists around late winter, early spring. Okay, so that is a full calendar year of holidays. What else might we do a versus of? I like to pair things that are similar enough to have, for the comparison to make sense. In the early days, we were experimenting. We recorded some episodes that didn't make it to air just because the the verses didn't have enough common ground to make sense. There, you know, trying to get people to vote on the difference between two really unrelated things was just illogical and ineffective. So that is when we figured out we need to, have things that either are used similarly, are relevant around the same time, are somewhat related to each other, or have some other really fundamental commonality. But I'd also like to get more gardening techniques in there too, not just plants. Oh, right. I'd also written down a list of versus ideas using things I am excited about. So I wrote food forest versus monoculture orchard. I wonder if monoculture orchard isn't an interesting enough thing to compare to, if there might be some other kind of polyculture that we could compare a food forest to. That could be fun. we talked about having a microclimate episode maybe? We've brought up microclimates a lot. We did talk about permaculture, so that can go
Hi.
now. Hi. I've been, talking through the list of things that we've previously put into the brainstorming document. We
I
are over time now. I was
Oh,
just
yeah.
waiting for you to come back.
Yeah, sorry, and honestly, I couldn't see anyone who may be watching, listening through this as I walked away, and just yeah, we were just booking with the Huntsville Public Library, some, Ask a Master Gardener sessions and booking a room for our meetings, so it's a quid pro quo situation,
Mhm,
and, some advertising for the podcast because I'll be the one doing it, and so it's a big debate, though.
mhm.
The reason why we've been going back and forth for the last couple of weeks, and I told him I was gonna be in Huntsville tomorrow, we can chat in person. Of course, he gives me a call anyways. Um, the issue is he's like, "Yeah, let's do it, like, 11 to noon." I'm like, "Why? Why? Why the middle of the day? Like, who are you gonna get?" Um, and at the same time, those are the library patrons. Like, I don't wanna be exclusionary to people who have a typical 9 to 5. Is there a way that we can do this? Anyways, we were humming and
Sure.
hawing, so that's all. It's We'll see.
Well, I hope you
He
find a
said it's a
good
Go ahead, sorry.
I hope you find a good, solution.
I think so. It's a beta test. So,
Hmm,
he's very flexible and will if we have to make adjustments, we'll make adjustments, and that's it.
good.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Come find me in
Alright.
Huntsville. Anyways, I think that's it for the pre-show. We have to do one quick thing after this. Thank you so much for listening. If somehow you're still here watching this, uh,
You think I
yeah.
wasn't interesting in those 10 minutes? I
Oh,
was
I'm sure you
riveting.
were. I learn about what we listed out last year and didn't do.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. I
Alright.
don't have a signature sign off as usual, but did you script something? I imagine you thought about it.
I did not think about it. I literally thought of that intro, like, in the moments that we were starting.
Oh, really? Oh,
Mhm.
I thought you've been
This
thinking
has
about it.
been your pre-show. Subscribe to Seedling tier and above for a re-show pre-show experience. I don't know. We'll work on it.
Yeah. I guess so. Is this is the freebie too? Oh gosh. I
It
feel like we
is.
need to put on a show for a real freebie. Maybe not this one. Oh well. We'll do
One
another
where
one.
the weather is good and we, don't have any interruptions.
Yeah, sorry. Phone's off now.
That's okay.
All right. I mean, I'm not saying goodbye